The other thing I like about the Larson is like that 80 miles an hour. It leads back a little bit, but it doesn't whip all over the hill. We do 6-1 in the story. Crossing over to the dark side. You're going to the dark side?
I did.
What did you do, Bob? Okay,
So
we're live streaming now.
What's that?
We're now live streaming.
So I got that.
So
You want to ask me a question?
10 minutes.
So I throw a.
Well, let's look at the basic package. We need to look at that. That was this one. We need to look at it. I mean, you
That way I
tell
can
us, do you want to leave it?
traffic.
No, if you doesn't, just dump it. Really don't package, I'll just have each one. Because you know, you're trying to hit our one much here. You're never gonna hit dump. Okay.
So I hear the radio.
I like it.
Yeah. It's just like
Okay, then, yeah, you may want to leave that program that way.
I looked over at my.
Okay, then that one, that's what program for your area. Okay, then that one's fine, we don't do anything with that.
Yeah, these,
These two programs. Now, do you want to put that package on these two?
we won't be able to listen in on what's going on here, talk to you all, can't we use that with one of the?
Well, what we could do is add to this one local stuff here to this package you already got on here.
Okay.
Are you talking about your 2 inches
To put it on these.
Yeah. Well, I figured that's probably what.
That way, they're all three
Yeah, it's kind of
identical,
funny.
so it doesn't matter
I
which
just
ratio you
started
pick
watching
up,
my first.
I'd be okay.
Hilarious.
Having one home, you did, and you just make sure you got one of these antennas on. Now, this one worked okay, and this one, it's okay, but as far as distance, you need more of those. And I would get 2 more of these to go on this, and that way, no matter which radio you pick up off the charger, you're covered. Yeah.
The other one's longer.
Just like this.
Yeah.
That's the tech.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Y'all get a program?
No, these two are brand new, this one, I paid to have to open up.
That's what we said.
No, that's it. See how that one's hooked onto it?
Mhm.
See how that's done? See, it's not a little long one.
What brand is that?
Yeah, that's using these are the better way. These will work, but they're not really good on receiving and transmitting.
We have a charging station thing on that's rounded, so we're trying to figure out, is that the radio we bought or what?
If you need those programs.
Yeah,
If you don't have a computer, I can do it.
I've got everything out there. He's got everything, I've got one here too.
That's faster and easier.
Well, we got a plan on attack tonight for these. We got a plan to attack tonight, I think, to make it a lot simpler. Told me you get the package they got on this one, they want to leave and just add the local repeaters here to it. Take and then once we're done, it saved it on here. Do the package off of this one and just duplicate it. Yeah, and that way, they, whatever one they pick up, it covers where they live at home and covers here. Then we're done.
So we can listen in.
Yeah.
See how.
That's true. With this, it happens. Now, I'll tell you a secret, okay? I'll tell you a secret. There's fitting. I don't think I've got it here. I don't know why. I don't have any of that. I mean, look.
Something out of
Yeah,
your box somewhere, I thought.
yeah, this little piece I need to throw out, and I stuck it on top. There's a piece, I don't think I've got it in my box. I just want to take it, I'll take it and throw it out, it's just a piece of it. But I don't see it. But there's a piece that usually is it's a fitting, and what it does, I'll give you an idea of one of these here. There's another one that's got on there, let's use this one. fitting that has the threads on here, that would screw in here, and it would look like this on top of it. Then what you can do, is you can take your magnet mounter in the car, stick it outside the house, apartment, wherever you are on that, on a railing, so it's metal, stick it, and screw that onto there, and it gives you another 20 miles down the road, 25 miles down the road. So what you do, you could probably take 4 meters here, using that one antenna, which
I put the new meters on that amp.
by having that fitting like this, and then when you're done, don't leave it that way, unscrew it, and put that in that car. Or, well, I went back up. You get what you're saying. If I have one of these on here with the cable running out, the rest of you can take my whole lot farther distance. And these fittings are coming, they're readily available. And then you'll have it to whichever one you want to use now. One that you hook up the
The
cable.
next question is quality and quantity, as used to, for television, there was no plating.
Yeah, no. You don't have to have that. It's more of a basic fitting, and you can get a pair of these. But you want, what you're wanting is where it has the SO 239 fitting this way, but it would have the female thread. Right in. That's fitting. I'll show you one over here on the paper tonight, okay? And then you can go out there and look on it, get you a couple. And just put one in the drawer and put one, like this, next to where you're gonna put it on the radio. And then what you do is find a
I rode my bike tonight.
set it outside on something metal.
I actually heard of
It's
them.
really hard.
Yeah, 500.
And then when the people back.
Which I have.
It's on here.
Okay.
That is a good idea. Especially during weather, when you set the house, when you know, I'd like to hear what Norman has. What is going on? Yeah. And you're not gonna hear it with the radio, because you'd be standing in the chair trying to hold that thing up. So that's why you. That's why you. That's why you're having it outside. People run in. And see, it's on the mobile now. You think yourself, okay, I know it's only 15 feet long.
I had 18.
Well, it made it in the front door. Chair's over there.
My wife,
25 people.
I don't.
Hook it up to that fitting I told you.
I got all
You go on there and get you, what's it called, RGB, and they come in 20 foot, 25 foot, 50 foot. How long you need it?
Peter found it. He said, he's getting up there.
Well, figure out from outside, where am I putting that negative mount?
He was finding himself on it, so.
Whatever
He told me about it, and I got it.
There's the one most thing. 15 foot down
I
in,
hit the button on the side.
wherever you're gonna try to come in, and then get you an extension go where.
I'm on my fourth
Do the extension, and then you just get your cable, and that other little fitting that puts on here. I'll show you off that shape before you go.
Right.
And then you're ready to go, and then you're set up, and then from your office in there, you got the in-town outdoor.
I don't know.
Clearly, I mean, so it may not talk with it very well. But you can definitely hear it. So if your mother's going in the
Same one that came alongside.
surrounding
It's the
areas.
same one that I put to the number.
Doing that. That's it. And that's it. Just to set up a simple.
That's what we want. So
I've
we're
got a friend.
gonna- Yeah, I think it's for how much money they have.
Hams are cheap. That tape measure antenna, I'll tell you about the park line, $10.
You imagine it.
But one inch, Detroit, 25 footers, Detroit.
Peter didn't know that.
$5 $6. He just typed it, and the rest of that, it cost him $2, $3. So, yeah, well, okay, so you figure $10, $12. That's all it is. And that ain't.
Bob's coming out tomorrow.
You can hold it,
Figure out what the heck.
mount.
I told him,
And then you
my mom say I can screw up with three. And I told Bob, when he said, "No, you just put the meters on." I
I can show you a list that you can look up at your house on all the Oklahoma frequencies. You can look at Texas, Kansas, Arkansas the same way. He said, every one you want to do. But as far as I can show you on the computer how to look it up.
The meters don't even go able.
Just write down the frequencies you want to add, and the information on it, or print out that page at home and bring it with you. Just certain ones, I want to add this and this and this, and you'll learn to do that. With the program that came going on, you'll see it tonight when we show you how to do it. And you'll see.
I need it.
You go, geez, that all is my aunt and these are really. And like I said, we want to use this one as the base. And then this one, these two here will be a duplicate of that one. With the added.
So I make myself custom made red display. And it lights the front of both of them. That's cool.
That's VH. That's VH. 136, 174 is VH. And UHF is the 430 to 480.
The one strip on the front. Yes, the light.
See, that's VHF. That's UHF. To 440 to 480 is the UHF side. Like when you look at our frequencies here, we've got the 146, 706. That's VH. And then you got the 443.700, which is our UHF.
One light, by the way.
Mine comes on.
Turbo batteries. Line it up with what? Light?
Yeah.
Nobody did it.
There he is.
I sent Larry an email because supposedly Larry is putting together the. Yeah, he's never gotten back.
That's it.
I got a neighbor.
That's all right. Right.
Blown away from that.
He had three.
Oh, yeah.
I saw, I saw.
Yeah, they got it. Up in the east side. I did one makes you wonder what the rest of them, they've been up over 100 in South Texas. It's crazy.
Well, but they usually good radio. They have two frequencies.
One better.
Only marks on one for that.
But, this one is received up to the.
Yeah, we didn't know who done it. I think it was up in a house.
The other two were just a little away. She called me, she said, "You're a hell of a man." I got some here radios down here. You need to. Collected everything you're.
Sometimes you get some
45 meters.
makes a difference. So,
But, I think this is mad with and
think of that more.
from slingshots to trackers to.
As long as it's cheaper than
Yeah.
But anyway, this is
My
probably
problem
just
is
some
this one here,
tell me what they're
they
working on.
replaced it with the right arm. White bar has a bunch of stuff. But this one, so
I said, I'll ask for it.
the newer ones, the
Yes.
that's what's usually.
Really? was
Yeah, you are.
certified.
Carl or Ken, have you got your audio on?
Oh, you want to set them up, so we'll go ahead and.
Pardon? I was just wondering if you had your audio on.
Yeah, I just turned it on. I had it off.
Mr. Klein is sick.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
What is he
Okay.
sick of? Allergies.
Your office chair repair hose clamp project worked great.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Horizontal.
yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
good.
Better than new.
He did talk to me, that's
Good,
why
good.
I'm here, got it
It's
open and
working
running
for
and
me
everything
for a
running,
while.
'cause I can do that, so.
Yeah, we're getting blasted by the guys in the,
He is horizontal tonight, so maybe he can go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get him to turn off the audio again.
Batteries? Do I need batteries? Which one?
oh. There we go. A little help on my end anyway.
We're getting.
What do you do? Call him on his cell phone or?
You have another one?
You know, that's not a bad idea.
No. He's out of his red books, the one that your brother.
I don't know
had.
if they can hear us or not.
He's out of those.
Hello, Mark.
He's ordered 30 of them, it should be here any day.
Okay.
And it'll have the updated.
Okay.
That's Mark
updated
in the red
text.
shirt?
The general won't change. Right. And the extra won't change.
Yeah.
He said he's hoping to have it Saturday.
Well.
We was hoping to have him this past weekend, but he didn't.
Yeah, you're supposed to have last
Hey,
Friday.
there's a
So
Ken.
bring them to
You would have sold him.
So
You would have sold him last week.
30, I haven't gotten 10 minutes.
But you would have had him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll go send him a text.
Keep that one. We're gonna add the local frequency, I wanna have them add the local stuff to this one. And then, once we save it into this one, we'll take whatever we
My
have on the
video.
screen, which is all that's in here plus the added, and duplicate it
Yeah,
on each.
I hear your audio, Ken, but I don't see your,
That makes
Video.
sense.
I think my computer's locked up.
Programming.
May have to reboot.
That's the other thing. Have they updated the,
He has it in hand finally.
I looked online, but I didn't see it.
No, he has not put it on the club page yet. He was gonna do it today for tonight's meeting.
How long
So
did
he
you get it?
didn't set a prayerfully in bed
Oh, very
again.
good.
He's got it. You just got to do that. It takes him 20 minutes to put it on. Because what you do is dump the old one, put the new one in place, and the only thing you change is the user's number.
hey, Mark, can you hear us down there?
It got quieter there.
With this radio, we put this, hooked him up, this has got him. His
They're trying to
first
send us over
contact.
Red Cross.
There's Carl.
We're all, on voice, but, Georgia on 20 meters. And he actually, I told him, make sure. you-
Rightfully, I should be able to pick up my HT and get on a repeater and
make sure you
somehow
have
connect to him.
Have you
Well, I
got
got my
his-
cell
Have you
phone.
got his cell phone number?
But I got my cell phone. Yeah,
And,
he's looking at his phone.
guys, I'll contact you back. He said,
Yeah, I just had David Quayers walking into the building right now, and I just asked him to get them to, there he is right there. If they would turn the sound down.
Where did he go? There he is.
Hey, there's a Ken.
And they did.
Now, Ken, we've got your face, but we don't have your audio.
Ah, I got it now.
You got it.
I had company and couldn't get on. Sam was over here.
Who was?
Sam,
Yeah,
Oh,
my
I just
ham
fired-
Sam.
I just fired my computer up.
Yeah. Oh, you just fired that computer up?
Yeah,
Okay, he just brought me the one. Sam went to Claremore and he bought computers for 2 Kens because they're the most important, I guess. But
It looked
anyway,
good.
I haven't had a chance to do anything with it.
I just got it a while ago, but
Yeah.
Damn.
Well,
One of those
trees.
I've had it a couple of days, but
You
little
need-
mini computers.
Yeah,
Hold it up and show it to us.
they're pretty big, aren't they?
yeah, it's a little Lenovo Mini.
Yeah.
8 gig. It's 8 gig of RAM, 250 gig solid state drive, Win 10, USB 3 and USB 2.
Yeah.
All right.
And I wanted to make sure I got one that had USB 3 ports on it.
Yeah, that way at least you get an external drive. You can move it over there a little bit faster, which is what I will be doing, putting a,
It's got a Kingston solid state drive in it, 240 gig.
yeah.
All right.
That's adequate. That'll do.
It's no slouch.
I
Anyway,
put a 120 in one of these things, and one of the little junk laptops that I got a hold of, and does everything it needs to do.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for my desktop computers that I build, I don't put a real big solid state hard drive in it because the drive C, which is the one that has the operating system on it, it doesn't have to be very big. The
Yeah.
other hard drives I use for storage. I've got
Yeah.
several
And-
hard drives in every one of them.
The
So you
mechanical,
don't have to have a humongous one for drive C.
mechanical drive lasts longer anyway.
I've never had a solid state drive go bad.
Well, I haven't yet, but all right. So I'm told. I haven't had any personal.
No,
Disasters,
I
yeah.
beg to differ. Because Bill and I used to build him solid state drives.
Yeah. We saw a few failures over the years, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, stop and think about, Ken, that thing is spinning at 7,200 RPMs.
Mhm.
And I never could figure out how you could make one of those spin up drives work in a laptop, the way these people throw laptops around. And you got a 7,200 RPM platters, 5 or 6 platters, and they're rotating.
It's actually pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think that those heads are floating above the disk, just barely. So when you get a big jar, a few G's, if that head goes down and hits the surface of that disk, it's all over, man.
I had years ago, I raced RC cars down at RC on just off I-40.
Yeah.
And one of the kids that raced there, his dad was a Seagate employee, and I'm trying to think of his name. I think it was Charles, but I may be wrong. Anyway, he was talking about some of the heads in the I guess, I don't know. Anyway, being sensitive to electrostatic discharge in the tens of volts.
Yeah, maybe even less than that. They don't take much ESD to knock them out for sure.
Yeah, I was amazed that they would even work.
They're sub-miniature.
Maximum volume.
There's not much, there's really used to, and Ken will remember this, they actually had a little piece of ferrite in there, or a piece of something with wire wound around it.
Yeah.
But you remember those heads with the
Yeah.
wire coils?
Yes, that's why they used to be built.
Yeah. And then they went to the, what they call them, Ken?
I don't remember. It's a solid state silicon or something that was used.
Yeah. Anyway, it was made like a integrated circuits. It was
Yeah.
sputtered, like they built up the layers on an integrated circuit. So they built up a little coil on the very end of the head.
Yeah.
By sputtering the material on there in a high vacuum chamber. But yeah, they wouldn't take much, either mechanically or electrically. It didn't take much to damage them. I mean, you could, they had a little gimbal on them, and the alignment of those things was pretty critical. And if you ever did the slightest amount of damage to the gimbal, it affected the way the head flew over the media, or it probably didn't fly over the media anymore.
Long before the drives got fast enough for video. Do you remember when instant replay first came out on football games?
Yeah.
But the machine that did that was an Eigen video disc. It was a piece of recording tape in a disc cartridge about a 12 or 13-inch square. And they spun it up fast enough that it would effectively go rigid. And then they'd float a head down on it.
Wow.
And scan it, and it had to fly on that material.
Yeah.
They were predictably service intensive, but they used those early on in cath labs for recording fluoroscopy loops and runs. When they do the regular high power runs on film, they put them on that Eigen at the same time, and they could instant review the patient. And so we had a bunch of those things out there. And they had a pancake motor for the actual semi-floppy disk that,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
it was an interesting machine, and it would record, I don't know, 60 seconds. I forget actually how much it was enough to do
the replay,
to get a replay on the case, and they worked. But they were in a box about 24 to 30 inches long by 10 inches, 12 inches deep, and 18 inches wide. They were a monster.
pretty big box.
Yeah, it was a big box, a lot of power.
Bill, I don't know if you remember this or not, but when we first moved into building 102, Charles Bussard and I worked together, and Harold Paxton was our mechanical engineer. But
Yep.
there was another mechanical engineer, and for the life of me, I can't remember his name because he retired shortly after that. But he photographed a head landing on a disc. Did you ever see that?
With high-speed photography?
High-speed photography? And you
Yeah.
can see that disc was just going like that. I mean, the heads were
Yeah.
just going like that, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
Yeah, they probably borrowed our high-speed camera. We had a high-speed camera that because when we built the assembly equipment to lay the heads down on the disc when we were assembling it, we filmed that with high-speed photography or high-speed video rather,
Yeah.
to see exactly what was happening and how we might be damaging the discs.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, that was amazing to me. How that head flopped around there.
Yeah, it looked pretty violent.
Yeah. I still have to go with solid state hard drives.
Well, I think they're probably going to take over the industry. I don't see much future for spinning media.
I don't either.
I
Throw them heads away, man.
yeah, I agree.
We had a really problem. I think it was the Ren 5 that had 15 surfaces. Remember that? Real thick hard drive. It was a 5 1/4 inch Ren 5, I believe is what it was. And so you had 5. I was thinking it was 5 discs
Probably.
in there. But anyway, we was using the middle disc for servo.
Right. One surface of it.
But I think it was the lower surface. But anyway, we had the problem was if the stack wasn't completely vertical, the servo would get off. So then we ended up writing the servo tracks on each disc.
Right.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
went
it's
to-
Rin 7. Rin 7 that had, Rin 5 had a lot of discs, but Rin 7 was the problem one because there was too many discs stacked up vertical in there. And we had to go and start writing servo data on the
Yeah,
on each track had servo data.
right. Embedded servo.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. The
We got a Brenda Argo. Anybody know who that is? Whoever you are, you're welcome. Can you hear us, Brenda?
Yeah, I'm trying. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your microphone down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, your microphone is now showing
Muted.
that.
Can
Now
you hear me?
you're back on now, yeah.
I try to check into the net every day. So I'm Kilo Indy 5 Oscar Lima Hotel.
Okay, you can put your call sign where it will show up down there where your name is at too. You see where we have our call sign at the bottom left?
Yes.
Okay, you can add
So
that. You can add that to yours and then we'll all know. that
I'm
you-
trying it.
Okay,
Kilo Indy 5 Oscar Lima Hotel.
I don't know if you.
How's that?
Yeah, got it. Now we need some video.
I'm kind of shy, so.
We're never satisfied.
Well, the trick is just don't sit too close to the camera.
Oh yeah, well that would be a trick.
So where do you live at, Brenda? I
I live in Norman.
I don't check into the nets, and a few of us here do, but I don't. So they may know you.
I check into the net, try to check in every morning, and Brenda's just about the closest other ham to me.
Awesome.
I'm just west of you at the end of the road to the west.
You can probably see his antennas.
I wish I had an antenna. I just have a little handheld.
Well, down the road, you can do that. I have good intentions of checking in, but I never get the job done.
Which net is that, Ken?
There's several nets, 10-meter net, 6-meter net. There's nets on the repeaters.
The one we're talking about is the Mac net in the morning. They shut down McDonald's. There's a group of us that meet every morning at the McDonald's on Lindsay in Norman, Lindsay and McGee. And whenever they shut the McDonald's down, well, then they started up a net, and we just called it the Mac net. And then, but now they've opened up McDonald's again. So we've still got a group that meets there every day except Sunday. And they're usually there from about 8:30 to 10 or 11. And there's
Early in the morning.
anywhere from 6 to 30 people show up.
Wow, that's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
Early risers.
I get up early, but that's when I get my work done. Here lately, I've been hamming a lot, trying to get all my DXCCs. Still need one country on 80 to have 8-band worked 100 countries on each of 8 bands.
Wow.
8-band DXCC.
And you only want like one?
One on 80 meters, yeah.
Wow. What country? Any country?
Any country on 80 meters that I haven't worked. And I've got, since the 1st of March, I've got 6 countries that I've worked that have not confirmed. So if any one of them guys will confirm, I'll have it. and they are Trinidad, Guadeloupe, Suriname, Falkland Islands, Portugal, and Kazakhstan. That's on 80 meters. So if any of
Wow.
any of them will
Kazakhstan?
confirm,
Really?
yeah.
You,
Like we have another visitor. Hello, Brenda.
Hello, guys. I think Carl has helped me check in a few times when I kept trying and couldn't get through, and he could pick it up.
That is true.
And this is going to sound strange to you guys, but I do Tai Chi 4 days a week that I have to be leaving my house at 9:15. So I can't go to McDonald's,
Yeah.
but I still try to check in because I want to be visible someday to you guys in case I need help.
It sounds like you just need to put up a better antenna or some
Oh,
kind
well,
of.
I don't really have an antenna. I just have a handheld, but someday I will have.
Well, that's when you get a chance and come down to the live meeting and
I need to go to Elmer's night and meet with
Yes.
you guys and somebody show me how.
yeah, get you a little, well, there's a couple of easy antennas. You can extend the range of your handheld a little bit. And how far do you have to go to make that? How far are you from
From
Norman?
the repeater.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure. I think it's out on Alameda, I believe.
Uh-huh.
She's about 11 or 12 miles.
Wow, that's a hard stretch for a handheld.
But
Get
most
an
of the time
antenna.
I get through. Unless there's some solar flare or something going on that the repeater doesn't pick it up, then I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need
And that's
to-
okay. I keep trying.
Well, an external antenna can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Or you could climb up on your roof of your house.
Yeah. Yeah. This old gal won't be doing that.
On a serious note, I heard just a blurb on the news about somebody falling off a tower as
Oh,
an
really?
industrial accident.
Wow.
Have you heard about it at all?
No, that sounds like it's a big tower though.
Well, they had a harness on, and
Yeah.
that's all I got. And then they went away. And I've been meaning to get online and try to research and be sure it wasn't one of our crowd. I mean, not that it matters. I mean, it matters, but not,
Well,
I'm just curious, but I didn't know if you heard of anything. Anybody heard of it or?
Does any of us work on commercial towers?
No, but well, yeah, I don't know. Nevertheless, it killed him, but
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Brenda, does anybody else in your house, anybody else licensed?
My husband has his tech license. I have my general. So
Well, make
and
him set up on the house.
we have a 40 acres out at Pink, Oklahoma,
Oh, wow.
that is totally off grid.
Yeah.
So we have a garden and we do stuff out there. And so I try to check in a lot of times on Saturday out at Pink, but
Yeah.
I really have to get up high to try to get the repeater.
Yeah, you need a better antenna. If
They
you go to
make,
Elmer's night, they can help you out.
Yes.
they make higher gain antennas for the handhelds, don't they?
Yeah.
Longer.
Well, and my husband is still working every day. And so hopefully he's going to retire maybe next April or January, and then we'll be more involved with you guys. I just had the time because I had already retired to get my general license.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean a whole lot. I'm just saying I do have it.
Well, you're not very far from where they have the Elmer's meeting at. And like you
No,
said,
I'm right here in Norman, and the fire station is real close to me.
yeah, you need to go down there. Those guys will help you out.
Yes. I thought about that, but I thought should probably wait till my husband can come with me because he understands most of that more than I do.
Yeah.
We are sort of preppers, and I'm more the prepper type of food and preservation stuff, and he's more of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you need communications.
yes, and I think that is very important. If the grid goes down, this may be all we have.
It could. Knock on wood, it won't, but
Yes, knock on wood.
it's like last Tuesday when it was going to be stormy and it wasn't.
Right.
Because I got my garage cleaned up enough to put my car in the garage and I was ready for it. And then it didn't happen. So I was happy about that.
Better to be prepared than not.
Plus you got your garage cleaned up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was it. That was the other side of it. Well, of course, now I've screwed it up again. It's a mess, but everything will slide. It's like a Tetris. Everything will rotate and slide out of the way. So
Carl, you look like you have a big setup there.
Oh, well, not compared to most of these guys, but yeah, it's functional. I'm also probably what you would call a prepper, although there's that's all I'll say about that.
yeah,
You don't have to
nothing
give too much
impressive.
information. I
You
understand.
know, I was getting ready to head over there to the fire station just for a few minutes, just to say hi. And would you like to go over there and just say hi just for a few minutes and just kind of give you an idea? And, you know, I can introduce you to everybody.
That's a good idea, Carl.
Yeah, I can't today, but maybe next week or whenever I can. I've got 2 dogs that just had some stuff done today and I have to stay with them, and my husband's at another function tonight.
Okay.
So, but thank you for the offer. I appreciate that. I even had my little name tag done. It's a little magnet name tag. I thought I would show up at McDonald's someday and go, okay, guys, I'm here.
Yeah, well, that's what everybody does, and they're not hard to miss because they're sitting on the west side, and there's a little area that pretty much everybody knows. That's where they
show up at.
The ham guys are. Yeah.
Yeah, I listen every morning for the guy at McDonald's to check everybody in.
Yeah, he's out of town right now.
Yes, in Hawaii, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so my husband has bought some radio stuff, but it's still in a box and it's going to be there until he quits working and we can get with you guys to tell us how to put it all together.
Well, just bring it all down to the Elmer night one night, and we'll get you set up.
Awesome.
It's not terribly difficult, and you don't have to have a massive fancy antenna to talk halfway around the world.
Yeah, and of course, I'd be glad to help you also.
Thanks, Carl. I feel kind of weird because when I check in, Miss Peanut, I don't know her, but she's obviously a female. And there's not a lot of females in your area, in your business that you do this, but I think it's very important.
Yeah, they used to have, as a matter of fact, my daughter-in-law went one time that they have a wild group that went to the USS Batfish. You remember that, Ken? You probably know more about that than I do.
Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle and a group of female hams.
Yeah, they're around, and
they went to the USS Batfish is up by
that's one of their regular annuals.
Yeah, I guess it's up by Muskogee.
No.
Yeah, there's Michelle and Lucky and several females that live pretty close to us, Brenda.
Oh, awesome.
Straight south, pretty much straight south of you.
Is Michelle still here or did she move?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
very often.
Okay.
There you are.
There I am. It took me a minute.
All right.
Hey,
All right, good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
you got it
I guess you
figured
need to
out.
put a face with the name, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't go to the Elmer's night very much. I've been on our Saturday meetings, but I haven't been since we had coronavirus stuff. So I just
I
been
know.
doing this Zoom, and the Zoom thing is all right.
Yeah. The coronavirus did a lot for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So, and Saturdays are kind of hard for us because we go to Pink, which I explained to you guys,
Yeah.
and we have a garden out there and we have things we have to tend to on the
Yeah.
weekend because my husband works all week.
So
So
where exactly is that garden?
it's at Pink, Oklahoma. But you know what? If I have extra stuff, I'll be happy to share.
I was just kidding.
I do a lot of canning and dehydrating and that sort of thing. So, and years ago, I was real big into CB when I drove all the time.
Yeah.
I was a CB operator. Yeah, I was Papa Top. That was my handle. And I talked all the time. And so when this came up and CB wasn't a thing anymore and you needed a license, that's when I studied and got my technical. And then I studied a little more and got my general.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Got to get your husband to get that general class.
Yeah, he will get it. He was just working. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
He's a CRNA. He puts people to sleep in surgery. Most importantly, he wakes them up after the procedure.
Well, hopefully, right?
Yeah, well, so far so good.
He's I won't say the most important guy in the room, but he's pretty darn important.
Well, we met in the operating room. I retired. I was the director of the operating room at OU Medical Center Outpatient Surgery Center, and I worked in surgery for the past 35 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I know inside of your body better than I know the outside. Just saying.
I spent 36 years working for medical x-ray, and we had quite a few surgical C-arms and portables and cath labs and yeah, whatever. So
You betcha. Got that C-arm.
been there.
Damn right.
You just, every once in a while, they don't want to come back awake very easy, but
I know.
yeah.
As I always said, I can always put you to sleep. I can't guarantee I can wake you up.
Yeah.
It's all the big syringe and half of the little one.
Hello, Mike.
Howdy. How's everybody?
Hanging in there.
Hanging. I don't see no hangers in there. I just got in from shopping, so I'm gonna stir around here a little bit, see if I can't find something for a KE5ASN. You haven't heard him on the air, has anybody?
No.
Okay.
Where
See
did
if-
Carl go?
He was on the phone, I think.
He,
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just,
Okay.
yeah, I was on the phone talking with one of the guys at the fire station. And he said that this evening that there's either 3 or 4 other women there tonight at the
Awesome.
fire station. So yeah, it's unfortunate that you can't go over there.
I know.
Can you not even get away for like 25 minutes?
Not this evening, but
Yeah.
I'll try the next time. I promise. I know we're a minority, but we need to stick together.
That's right. Yeah, they're apparently a couple of them are relatively new, and they were actually talking about their equipment and stuff and getting everything set up. So
I saw where a couple of females got their tech license here recently. So that's cool.
Well, jumping up to general is the big deal because that really gives you everything except a few little slices of frequency. So that opens all kinds of doors for you.
Yeah, I gave my husband a hard time. I told him now, you
Yep.
call me General.
Well, he can operate the station as long as you're standing over his shoulder.
That's right. And that's what I told him. Don't fret about it. As long as I'm here, we can do it.
You get to be the
Again.
boss.
I'm
Then
sorry.
You get to be the boss.
you do.
I think I'm the boss anyway, but I'm really not.
Yeah, I think we know better. Got our bosses.
But
God bless
you
them.
know, if you get the station set up and let him operate some under your license, he'll get interested and he'll go ahead and get his probably.
Well, he is interested. He just, with the job he does, he has to do a lot of continuing education, which takes many hours in the evenings just to do that.
No.
And so once he retires, he won't have to do that anymore, which that's a good thing. And so he'll be on board.
That's,
After I retired, I had a hard time figuring out how I had time to work.
Right?
Me
That
But
is
you know
true.
what? I thought that too. After I retired and I got so busy, I thought, how did I have time to go to work and come home and do all this? And now I'm doing all this and still don't have time.
Yep.
I teach Tai Chi one day a week at the senior center,
really?
and I take 2 Tai Chi lessons a week. So that keeps me kind of busy.
Which senior center do you teach your Tai Chi class?
In Norman,
Well, isn't there 2 senior centers?
there's only one in Norman, the one that's on Berry
Okay.
by the courthouse, just
okay.
kind of cat-a-corny from the courthouse.
I was thinking there was a new one out, or maybe they were talking about building a new one out by the new library.
Yes,
Out on-
there is going to be a new one, but it's not, they
Okay.
haven't built it yet.
Okay, gotcha.
I got certified at OU Trauma Center, moving for better balance, and it's a Tai Chi for older adults. So they keep their balance, and Oklahoma's #1 fall center for, I mean, that's serious for older.
Yeah,
people.
it's serious.
And so
I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. Was kind of chuckling because I got a bad injury from a fall.
from a
Really
fall,
bad.
yes.
Tore all the rotator cuffs out of my right arm, and I had to have surgery and an artificial joint and all that. So yeah, I'm with you on.
Did you do all your physical therapy on your rotator cuff?
Well, there wasn't any
Yes.
rotator cuff left after I got through the
Oh.
fall. They had to put in a reverse shoulder joint. Have you heard of a
Yes.
reverse?
Yes,
When there's no rotator cuff left that they can
that's
hook up,
right.
they do a reverse. So,
Wow.
but also had something called compartment syndrome.
Yes,
As a nurse, you probably have heard of that. Not
yes.
hardly anybody else. Everybody looks at you like, what? But yeah, I'm lucky I've got an arm at all.
Exactly.
There was quite a bit of muscle and nerve damage from the compartment syndrome. Anyway, I didn't want to get off ham radio to talk
Sorry,
about that.
sorry. I probably moved the conversation.
No,
to
no, you
Tai
didn't.
Chi.
I did.
We wander all over the place anyway.
Brenda, have you done any Tai Chi at the Y?
No, I do it at the Well. Do you know where the Well is?
No.
The Well is a new center in Norman. It's just west of the courthouse. And Chalk and his wife, Rosie, they teach Tai Chi there. And I laugh all the time because they have various teachers and they always say, I went to China and I learned Tai Chi. And I go, I've eaten Chinese, so I know Tai Chi.
Hey, by the way, I sent you a text message or a whatever you call it on Zoom.
Okay.
Chat message.
Chat. Okay. I see it here. I'm sending you mine.
I used to do Tai Chi with a lady that has retired here in Norman. Let's see. I'm so bad on names and I cannot think of her name right now. Something Gray.
You know what I do with that? I start with the alphabet and I go A, B, C to try to figure out the names. And sometimes if it's after T, I'm good with it. I forgot it. But Tai Chi is really slow. And the slower you go, the harder it is, but it builds core strength in your body. And it's really good for people. And so you're all invited if you want to come to the Senior Center in Norman on Thursday at 10 a.m. I teach Tai Chi.
Whenever I get old enough, I will.
Okay, when you
I
get
was
old
gonna-
enough, you do that.
I was gonna say, none of us are seniors.
Oh, sorry. I'm the only senior here. It's okay. I'm good with it.
Yeah, that's a joke.
No, it's fine. We have anywhere from 10 to 20 people that show up. And, you know, if it's spring break, they're watching grandkids, or if it's summer, they're on vacation, or if it's bad weather, they're not coming. So it's just if one or the other. And I understand that.
I'm surprised Sam hasn't got to the meeting yet.
Or if you just decided to go home.
Because he left here just before I got on, and I don't remember what time I got on. Do you, Bill? Was it 6:30 or so?
It was probably, no, it was about,
6:45, maybe.
yeah, no, it was later than that. It was closer probably to 7.
Really?
Really?
Because, yeah, it was 6:45 when I looked at my watch and said, wow, I'm late.
Yeah, I sat here by myself
And
for a
then you
little
didn't get
while.
on for a while, so.
So you guys are having a ham picnic this weekend?
This coming weekend, yes.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Saturday.
Yes.
Do you get the club newsletter?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it tells about it in there.
Yes.
And it is down not too far from Slaughterville.
I'll be in my garden planting this weekend because it's time.
Planting time, yeah.
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 I did a whole bunch of seedlings this year, and they have been very difficult for me. Last year, not so difficult. This year, pretty difficult, but I've got them going. So I'm going to be planting those because I think, you know, the cold weather's going to be over with, so I can get all those in the ground. I already have potatoes and radishes and onions and carrots in the ground. They're all coming up, but I got lots of other things I have to get in the ground.
That sounds like a lot of work to me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I make my husband do most of it. I do the harvesting part.
Oh, okay.
Help him with planting.
I
You know,
could
I
do
hand
the
him the
eating. I
stuff.
could do the eating part.
Okay, well, see, there you go. But it's nice to, last year, our garden wasn't as good. We had some squash bugs that got in the garden, and they got my corn and part of my tomatoes, which really made me mad. Cucumbers and green beans and all that was good. But when they get your corn, nah, and your tomatoes, nah, that's bad.
Yeah, particularly the tomatoes.
Yes, exactly.
You got tomatoes out yet?
I've just got the small plants about this big that I started in the house, but I'm going to put them out this weekend.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law's putting some out. Maybe today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's warm enough.
Yeah. I only do 2 kinds. I do kind of a Roma tomato, the small tomatoes. And then I do like it's not a beefsteak, but it's a big tomato. It's called Marglobe tomato. I do those. And so far they've done pretty good because we have really sandy soil out at Pink. And so that's kind of
That's
bad.
good for watermelons and squash and stuff.
Oh, you know what? We grew watermelons 2 years ago and we had so many and they were beautiful, big old watermelons. But when you cut them open, they weren't good.
Really?
They were almost green tasting. They were pink, they weren't red.
I'll be darned.
And somebody said we watered them too much.
Watermelons like water.
Well, you would think they did, but mine didn't do so well.
The
So
last time we grew watermelons, we had a patch full of watermelons, and I went out there one morning and the deer ate all of the vines that went to the watermelons,
I know
and they weren't quite ready yet.
we had to do a 6-foot fence around our garden and a gate to go in to keep the deer out
Yeah.
because they will take
There's
it
a lot of
over.
deer over around Pink.
Yes, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I counted 18 deer at the pond.
Um,
They were just walking through. They were so
Yeah,
pretty.
we have them in our backyard. I live
Chili
over
on the hoof.
There was only one buck. All the rest of them were, yeah.
I live over by Shawnee Lake. So not too far from your garden in Pink.
Yeah. It was funny. Last year, my husband went out to, hunt for deer, sit in a blind early in the morning, freezing cold, decided to come back in because he was cold and went in our cabin and looked out the back door and there they were and he shot one.
Yeah.
And so we processed it, So I told him, there's no sitting in a blind, just sit on the back, deck and watch for them. They'll come by.
Well,
There's actually, there was, I'm not sure about today, but there was a fair little herd in just north of Lake Hefner. My sister-in-law had a place that I looked over the spillway below the dam. And one Thanksgiving, we counted 18 deer out there. And it goes on down into Martin Nature Park, which is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they run through that area there, and I'm a mile west of that, but I've never seen one get over here. All kinds of other critters come up out of the creek behind me, but I had raccoons in the attic.
That's not good.
That wasn't fun.
But we get lots of turkeys, which is pretty cool.
Pardon?
We find lots of turkeys on our land.
Yeah.
What are all these fellas doing over to your place then?
Do what?
You said you're getting a bunch of turkeys over there. What are all these fellas doing over there?
Yeah. Guilty as charged.
We went hunting for morel mushrooms last weekend, but didn't find any. We've gotten them before, but not this time.
Ken, we were talking about my rotator last week and how to switch it around to
Oh, yeah.
south.
Yeah.
All you do is take the lens off the front, which is just an eighth of a turn.
Yes.
Then you set it on north, pull the needle off.
Yeah.
And turn it around and put it back on, pointing south.
I remember that.
And then all I'll have to do is take the beam and turn it 180 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
So it's aligned with the south arrow.
Yeah.
And I played around with that a little bit, and I do think that is the better way to set it up, because you don't have to go all the way around to get back to the southeast.
Yeah. It's better for me, and evidently Carl likes it that way too.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. And it turns out it's very easy. The dial, the lens in the front just twists and pops out, and you pluck the needle off and stick it back on wherever you want it.
Well, it's been probably 10 years since I've done mine that way, and I didn't remember.
Well, it hasn't been that long since I changed mine from south to north, and I didn't remember. And we're talking about, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks ago or something like that. And I forgot all about that I had changed that thing from south to north. If I had left it just like it was, it would have been fine. But for some reason, I got it in my head that I needed it to be the other direction. But I agree with both of you that it would work better changed.
If the turnaround point is to the stopping point is to the south instead of
Right. Yeah.
any other direction.
We were talking about it last week, how to do it.
Right. I thought you said your stopping point was west.
No, well, no, if I'm going clockwise,
There it is. He made it.
if I'm going clockwise, the stopping point is due east.
What? It's not the way mine's set up.
I mean, if I turn it down and go counterclockwise,
If you start from the north, say your antenna's pointing north, and you turn clockwise, where does it stop at?
Well, let me see here. I think it stops at 90 degrees due east.
Okay. That's not the way mine's set up. Is that the way yours is set up, Carl?
No, yours is set up 180 for mine, and I'm going to change mine to be like yours.
Oh, okay. But you haven't changed yours yet.
No, I haven't changed it yet.
Okay, all right. That's where.
Yeah, when mine passes going clockwise, when mine passes 0, the red light comes on, and then it only goes to 90 degrees.
Okay, if I start from north and go clockwise, and I get to 180, that's when the light comes on and tells me, but it will go past that another 90 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes it nice if you don't have to swing all the way around to get to the west, to the southwest.
Yeah, after playing around with it quite a bit, I came to the conclusion that you guys are definitely right, that that's a better way to set it up.
Yeah. And it was really, I set mine up a long time ago whenever I was doing moon bounce, because the moon is always in our southern hemisphere. So the moon rises in the east, sets in the west. So when it comes up, I start tracking the moon, and then it goes around to the south and on around to the west. So the rotor never has to turn around, never has to stop and go all the way around that way.
Yeah, that's a better plan for sure. And it's easy enough to do. I'll have to lay the tower over, but that's easy to do. I can do that by myself, actually. Just pull some bolts out and winch it down, winch it over. Plus I need to go in and work on that 20-meter element a little bit and see if I can't get it to get a resonant dip a little closer to the center of the band up, or maybe up toward the top of the 20-meter band a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Sam was over here a while ago, and he showed some interest in a tower, and he sounds like he would like to have one about like yours. And I told him to talk to you about your tower. Was your tower a universal?
Yes.
Okay, universal aluminum tower?
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what he showed some interest in. So,
well, if he wants to come by and look at it, he's perfectly welcome.
He said he wanted a freestanding one, and I told him that if he's going to do a freestanding one, you better have a big gin pole to help brace it up, and then not put a very big antenna on it.
Well, they make I don't have by any stretch the biggest one that Universal makes.
Yeah.
They make some heavy duty towers.
Yeah.
But the price goes up substantially.
I told him, man, too, they'd probably make a steel tower. Of course, it would be heavy, but if he wants to tilt over, and if it's heavy, it doesn't matter because you're going to use a winch to tilt it over and crank it back up. Once you get it installed, You don't care if it's heavy or not. If it's heavy, that means it's stronger.
Yeah, but he's gonna have, he wouldn't be probably self-supporting. I guess they have self-supporting steel towers too, right?
Yeah. But anyway, self-supporting, one, if you're gonna have a self-supporting tower, it's gonna have a very big antenna on it. It's gonna have to be a big self-supporting. You know, it's gonna have to be 12 inches across on the sections.
Now, I've got a couple towers that are self-supporting over here that I have not put up yet, but they're both steel, galvanized steel towers.
Yeah. That's what you need if you're gonna be self-supporting and put very much weight up there.
Or have a really big fat pocketbook, because Universal does make a heavy duty, well, they make multiple towers, but they're the upper end of their line, they're really heavy duty ones.
Yeah.
You know, they really get high because they've got a lot of aluminum in them.
Yeah.
I've got 2 top sections if he wants them.
That'd get him up 20 feet if you can weld them together.
Well, you could weld them together.
Yeah.
Do they have a plate at the top of them to mount a rotor to, or is it, does it come up in that triangular deal with a little tube that you have to put a mast in?
That's the way mine is, but they make one also. I mean, you can get it either way. The one I bought that the company had in stock had the bushing at the top, like you're talking about, and that caused me a lot of trouble because the first 2 upper sections they sent me, they had misaligned that upper bushing so that when you put the mast down through it, it wouldn't line up with the rotator. There's no way you could make it work. And after they sent me the second one, bad one, I took a bunch of photos and wrote a letter to them and demonstrated that they had a problem in their assembly. And they got back with me and said, "Yep, you're right." And they blamed it on the welder. Now I don't. Maybe the welder was using the jig wrong, but I don't think it. I don't know. You know, maybe it was a new guy and he just didn't know how to jig the stuff up and put the parts in the jig correctly, but it was off quite a bit. I mean, not enough that you could just spot it with your naked eye until you stuck the mast down through there. But boy, once you put the mast down through there, it was obvious as could be. Hey, Carl, I wanted to ask you about your amp a little bit. That's a 1306, is that right?
Yes, ALS 1306.
And do you have the automatic band switching hooked up?
Yes.
And
yeah, the ones that end with a 6, the 1300 is the standard, and then the 1306 is the automatic tuning, automatic band switching.
Does it have a built-in antenna tuner?
No, but there's one in the radio, and then I've got one that's capable of full legal limit that I don't really need because the hex beam is down
right
2 to 1 everywhere. But I had it, and so I stuck it in line, and it's, you know, even though it's like a 1.2 or 1.1, you know, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and kick it over to where it's 1.0 on the tuner.
And you can run about what about 1,000 watts or a little over?
And the amp is rated at 1200 watts. It does well over 1500 easily. It's rated at 1200 full time, whatever you call that. And the tuner is also rated for 1500 watts.
So what tubes that amp got in it?
It doesn't. It's got 8. It's solid state, and it's got 8
Okay.
solid state.
Gotcha.
MOSFETs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, for what you get in that amp, that's a pretty reasonable price compared to a lot of them.
How much power does it take to drive it to a kilowatt?
50, about 50 watts. Of course, it depends on what band, but I pretty much just have everything at 50 watts, and that's pretty close on just about everything.
Yeah, the amps, the solid state amps with the LD MOSs in them, those things, you can drive those to 15 or 2000 watts with hardly any power at all. Those things have phenomenal gain.
Yeah, the one I had for 2 meters was M squared, 10 watts. I could get 1000 watts out.
Wow.
10
Yeah.
in, 1000 out.
Is that was an LD MOS probably, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was made by M squared. It was a MK2 1200 watt amplifier.
Cooler sound. Oh,
There's a Mark Klein.
you don't want to blast it. My goodness, they sound like they're coming.
I'll find it anyway. I keep those.
damn estate sale. Which will come up with something.
That's better.
Also had one of those Yaesu Quadra amp, if you've ever heard of that. It's something like a VL 1000 or something. It was a Yaesu.
Yaesu amp?
Yeah, it was a solid state amp. It was pretty good. It had a built-in tuner, but the tuner in that thing was like old technology, because when you push that tune button, it made a heck of a racket and took it forever to tune. These new ones, man, you push that button and they tune it almost immediately.
Yeah, that one may have had, did it have roller inductors or anything in it that?
Probably did, because it was noisy and took it a long time to tune, man. These new ones just.
Yeah, they've just got a bunch of relays in them.
Yeah.
That they open and close to bring in different inductors and capacitors.
Yeah, different LC combination.
Exactly.
And that's what I was explaining to you whenever John got that transceiver and his SWR was high when he knew his antenna was good, is because someone used the automatic tuner and tuned it to a different antenna than he's using, and he didn't retune it. Follow me? So that's why he was showing a high SWR. And all he had to do was either turn the internal automatic tuner off or push the tune button to retune. And Carl pointed that out to him.
That's on the 7300.
Because if we're on the overhead, which we should be.
Is that on the 7300?
Yes.
Yeah. That was the used 7300 that he bought. Somebody else, the tuner was set up for somebody else's antenna.
Yeah. That wouldn't work too good.
Sorry, we're over your head here, Brenda.
That's okay.
But
we have a 50-foot antenna out at Pink that we run our internet on, and we're trying to figure out if maybe we can do something for radio portion of it on that pole.
Sure.
Sure, you can put a antenna on that same pole.
I mean, we're hoping we can.
Now,
Yeah.
testing 1, 2, 3, test, testing 1, 2, 3, test. See, they can, we're highlighting.
Response 4, 5, 6, 7.
I can hear and see you guys. Well, I can't hear Sam.
Maybe they can't hear us.
Yeah,
I'll be checking out in about 4 minutes, boys and girls.
you got a net to do?
At the Aries net, I check into it. I don't call it.
Okay.
And then it'll be supper time. So,
I'm sorry we didn't let you talk.
well, I did find that board that I was looking for. It's called a Jambo Spot,
Wow.
Jambo.
Mhm.
And there was one made called Jumbo Spot, Jumbo. The Jambo is the Chinese knockoff of the Jumbo.
Yeah. Always a Chinese knockoff, isn't it?
Yeah. So the board says Jambo Spot on it, and sure enough, I looked it up, and there is such an animal, but it's the Chinese copy of the Jumbo Spot. It might work for him, but I think it uses 145.550 or something like that as its only frequency. It can't do VHF.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to give you guys an update if you're like to hear about it, of the antenna rotator I've been working on.
Yeah. How's that thing going?
So this is not my project that you see on the screen. This is the kind of thing that I've been seeing in my research. And I thought, I'm not going to learn a whole lot by doing this kind of a model, though this would work, right? But I decided what we need is something more along the lines of a dual axis slewing rotator that can use some stepper motors of various sizes, and that you have the opportunity to modify it as you see fit. Well, it turns out there's a whole world of fellas out there who are designing in Fusion 360 these models.
Can you pull their data in and look at it?
You can pull their data, you can pull their files in, and you can look at them, and you can, depending on which one you find online, you can even modify it.
Yeah.
And I spent this week modifying this guy's slewing rotator. This guy's was pretty good. He had a couple of errors in his drawing. I managed to make some modifications so I could use some stainless steel 6mm ball bearings instead of what he was using, which was some kind of airsoft pellets.
So
And
are you using Eagle CAD program and using 360 with Eagle?
I'm not using Eagle. I have it, but I don't even know how to. I probably could open it. That's about it. I don't know much about it.
Okay.
But this is the kind of thing that it looks like when it's what it should look like when it's assembled. And so I'm having just a heck of a time trying to learn how to use the 3D printer so I can get this thing to print out properly. But that's part of the exploration, right?
Yeah, Ken's a 3D printer guy.
Right on, Ken. Howdy, howdy. So you guys know there's the mechanical part of it. And I've got to design this piece that you see between these two slewing drives. I got to design the piece that fits between them where I can mount one to the other. And that's what I'll probably do this weekend, is start working on that. But then you guys also know from a couple of weeks ago that I had been working on trying to get these darn stepper motors to work right. Well, I'm still having a little bit buggy code, but what you see here in front of you are Hall sensors, upper and lower limit, and for the X axis, and lower limit for the Y axis. And then off here to the side, there's a inertial measurement unit. That's the electronic compass, accelerator, that kind of thing. So we can try to understand the direction that the antenna thinks it's pointed. But I'm still working on that. I got to find me a library because writing code for those things is a pain in the bottom. So it's better just to read.
How big of an antenna will this rotate?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm trying to design it, not being an engineer, right? I'm trying to design it to work with the Arrow 2 rotator.
Oh, yeah.
I mean the Arrow 2 antenna.
Yeah. Well, you see, I do moon bounce on 432.
Right.
It doesn't take a gigantic rotor. I'm using two 25 element Yagis stacked together to give me 25 dB gain. And I can't remember how long the boom is, but they're pretty lightweight. And if you
the idea is once this project is finished with this smaller one, I'd like to be able to go buy one of these larger slewing drives and try something nobody's ever done, and that's to take a larger antenna and be able to set that up on there. Now, no promises on this. It's not going to be for moon bounce or anything like that, but I actually have it in mind to see if I can get that Explorer 14 set up in a backyard somewhere and see if I can get it to have a Y-axis instead of only an X-axis.
You don't need a really big antenna to track the satellites and work satellites. So
well, for the satellites, that's one thing, but keep in mind that one of the projects in the future is not just to work with a VHF UHF antenna, but to also upscale the whole idea so I can work with an HF Yagi.
Yeah. But you don't really need elevation on a HF antenna.
Well, it depends on where you want it, what you want your signal to do. Now, remember, a lot of the study I've been doing since, February of last year was try to understand the mathematics that these guys are using for refraction of that HF signal up through the ionosphere. So I'm still trying to learn the calculus, still working on that. About 20 hours a week, I'm studying math so I can understand these papers these guys write. And when I get it figured out, I want to be able to take an HF Yagi, set it at the angle that I want, depending on the conditions of that day in the areas where I need the signal to refract, and be able to pinpoint as best as I can where I want that signal to go and what I want to receive from. So, but it all starts from somewhere, and right now it's starting with this little Arrow 2 antenna to learn how these rotators work.
Well, that Arrow 2 antenna, is that 2 meters and 440?
Yes, sir.
So that means you could track satellite with it.
Yeah, the fun project that we're going to do with the family on that one, once this little project is done, is to try to talk to the fellas through that repeater that's up there on the ISS. Yeah. That's what's motivating this little project.
Yeah, well, there's several satellites that you can talk to their repeater. I do that here, and you don't have to have a big antenna for satellite work, and you don't have to have a lot of power. I mean, the guys.
Kid, by God, you're going to hear from me. That's for sure. Once we get this thing working.
I worked a guy standing on the deck of a cruise ship in Bermuda with a handheld arrow pointing at the satellite, and I worked him from here. And he was using a handy talkie for a transmitter, using one of them little Arrow 440 2-meter antennas.
We tried to hit the ISS there several times, and I finally decided, you know what, we're going to let the computer control where the antenna is pointing. So that's where this project got.
Those satellites and they move pretty fast, and ISS moves pretty fast. So it's a lot easier to let a computer track them, and then you don't have to worry about that part of it, because you still have Doppler shift to worry about too.
And that's all that stuff I got to read about and learn about. So, it's going to take a little bit of time. I figure by the time I'm your age, Ken, I'll probably understand at least half of it.
But there's computer programs that do the Doppler shift for you.
Okay, then that means there's gonna be some libraries out there that do
Yeah.
that. Now, what I found over time is that the data is all out there. If a person's willing to have the patience to go get it and the standards for the coding, it's all there. It's just piecing
Yeah, well,
it all
you
together.
have a fun project and it will keep you busy for a while, which is a good thing. And you'll learn a
So-
lot doing this.
So for those of you that have been following along with this project, there is no social media page for this and just none of that. But when I finally finish this thing, we'll make the code available and we'll put it up there where people can get to it up there at that GitHub thing that people talk about.
Yeah.
And then we'll put the 3D drawings up there at that website they call Thingiverse. We'll get them up there so you can download it there and let you have at the parts list and everything we did to pull this thing off. So if you want to build your own, you can. I'm not even sure if these little motors are going to do it because I don't have a whole lot of engineering knowledge about torque and all that kind of stuff. But there's a possibility I may have to come in with one of these bigger NEMA 17 drives, but at least we've got a set of those in case we need them.
Yeah.
These are just these little tiny ones.
Well,
We'll see.
that little arrow antenna doesn't weigh very much and it doesn't catch much wind. So, low wind resistance. Well,
the challenge we found so far isn't because we haven't gotten there yet to test. Wasn't necessarily the way of the antenna. It's just getting this darn getting the slewing drive to turn.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized we had some serious problems with the 3D printed part, and this whole thing about post processing your 3D part once you printed it. And I think that's a big deal. But we'll get there. Obviously, from what I said earlier, the parts weren't all mated together properly, so I had to go back and do a lot of tweaking. But we've got new 3D prints coming out now. It'll take probably 4 or 5 days for all the prints to print correctly. And once they're all done, post-processing is complete, we'll get one of these things hooked up with some bearings in it. And whatever the results are, I'll come back in here in one of these club meetings.
Yeah.
What material are you printing it in?
Well, right now I'm printing it in all PLA, but I would love to print these, the gear and the, here, let me get that top part off of there. I would love to, let me take that off. I would love to print this, this worm gear section and this gear. I'd love to print those in ABS, but I got to check and see if my printer can print that hot.
At the very least, you could probably print it in PETG, PETG, and that would give you a little bit more heat resistance.
That's one of the concerns I had, was about getting out there when the weatherman says it's 104 degrees, and you know how it is. It's going to be a heck of a lot hotter than that in your driveway, and finding out that some of this stuff starts warping, or that motor right there starts to heat up.
PLA could get soft. I'm printing some wire guides for a vertical antenna, and I went ahead and bought some PETG, but the PLA, I plan to paint it white, prime it and paint it white, keep the temperature as low as possible. But that's not a mechanical part in the sense of a gear or anything like that. So, but I did get a roll of PETG, and I've not yet. Yeah. Anyway, depends on your printer. What kind of printer are you using?
Well, I got to tell you, having never printed 3D printing before, people were saying that you should stay away from those belt printers if you're a beginner. And of course, that's like lightning to a lightning rod for me. So I went and got one of those belt printers. And right now it's working on printing the worm gear.
Yeah, it adds a dimension that you have to mess with.
But so far, so good. And those of you who've been watching the screen there for a little while, you saw that I was getting these 2 motors to spin at the same time and got those Hall effect sensors working. Now I got to tell you that everything about this project, there's been some input from one of the software engineers that I work with up at the office who knows how to do all this Python programming stuff. And so it's been very fun, it's been very educational. And I got to be honest with you, I really do think that the nature of what we do as a hobby is changing. It's just simply changing. This whole thing about 3D printing and using these little Raspberry Pis, this isn't at all what it was back in the 1980s and early
Nothing's the
1990s.
same as it was
It's
in
all
the
changed.
80s.
Hey, I remember when we all was running AM.
Yeah. Ken, tell them, try the 1960s.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill and I was around in 1960 doing the stuff on AM.
Yep.
Sam's going to try again, it looks like.
And CW.
20.
Hey, you get that thing to work, Sam? Your audio is still muted.
Can you hear me now? I tried last week and it wasn't doing anything.
You see down in on the bottom left-hand corner, Brenda, on his screen, that little red microphone that's X'd out, that tells you whether his sound's working or not. That's how we knew your sound wasn't on. Well,
I want to text him.
You guys hear me now?
Yes.
oh, yeah.
I can hear you too a little bit.
I did make a contact on 10 meters today. Talked to a guy down in Brazil on 10 meters.
Cool.
Was that you said that, Ken?
No, me, Bill.
Oh, you. Oh, okay, Bill. 10 meters, huh?
Yeah, I was glad to see maybe some life coming back to 10 meters, huh?
Yeah. So do you rotate your antenna down there?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, when I first heard him, I was kind of listening on the backside, but he was pretty strong. I didn't have any trouble talking to him. The pileups are what are exasperating.
No,
I don't have enough power to bust those pileups. You get a European station on there, they really pile up.
Power helps, but it's not near what you need to get in on those pileups.
need antenna gain.
Technique is a lot better than power.
Yeah, and antenna gain. See, the thing about antenna gain, Bill, is you get gain on transmit and receive.
Absolutely.
Amplifier only gives you gain on transmit.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. That's why I tried to put up the best antenna I could. I could have, I may regret it and wish I'd put up a heavier tower and put a, bigger tri-bander up there or something.
I think you'll do okay with your antenna.
Yeah,
I work guys all over Europe with the same antenna you're using.
With the X-beam?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty popular.
I worked Australia, New Zealand, all those places, guys using X beams.
Speaking of hitting all those places, last Tuesday, I did make contact with that guy in Kuwait.
Yeah.
That and a couple other, let's see, Oman, Indonesia, Serbia, and Spain.
Yeah.
Wow.
All last Tuesday.
Just on the phone?
Yeah.
I tried that guy in Kuwait, but man, I just could not get.
Couldn't get through the pileup.
I couldn't hear him. Now, one of the guys in Kuwait, I did hear real clearly. but there were so many people in line. I mean, every time he would break, 20 stations would come in. What's that guy's name? Mohammed, is that right?
That sounds
Yes.
right. 9K2 something.
Yeah, I've got it written down here somewhere.
He was running split, wasn't he?
I was not working him on phone. I worked him on digital mode.
Yeah, I think he was running split, and that would be a reason that.
Yeah, I couldn't hear him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you're running if you have a big pileup, split is the best way to do it.
How do you know if they're running split though? You just have to kind of guess.
They'll tell you up 5 or up 10 or something. And and another thing, you have a pan adapter. You can see where he's at, and then look up 10 kilohertz and see if there's a whole bunch of stations up there, and you know that he's running split if that's happening. And a lot of times they'll say up 5, up 10. After they get, every once in a while, they'll say it. They don't say it every time, but
Yeah, he may very well have been running split. It never even occurred to me, but the pileup was just horrendous.
what band did you work him on, Carl?
20 meters. Yeah, that gave me 98 contacts towards my DX.
Wow, that's good.
And of course I've got way over that, but confirmed, I should say confirmed, 98 confirmed contacts.
Yeah. Well, Sam, did you get working? You're muted. Can you hear us, Sam?
Talking to me,
Yeah. Your name Sam?
it's really loud in the background here, and
Oh.
we've got this turned up as high as it can go, and I'm saying just picking you out of the
Yeah,
noise.
I understand. I appreciate you coming over and bringing this computer to me.
Yeah, I think you'll like that. I'm looking forward to booting mine up. Ken said his is doing well.
Where are those coming from? Is there a stock of them around somewhere or?
Well, there's a guy, he's out of Wichita, and he was at Enid, and I bought actually a little lesser one at Enid. That's all he had left when I found him. And anyway, I love it. So this time I've been talking to him, and yeah, it's this small form factor. And, this is actually a little faster, but he puts brand new hard drives in, Windows 10 Pro, and
Yeah, this already got the operating system on it and everything. It's got Windows 10 on it for
those
$100.
are $100, you know.
$100, really?
Yeah, you can't even, if you go to Amazon and buy Windows 10, it's $100 just for the program, for the operating system. The only thing, you don't get a disk with this.
No, you don't get a disk with anything anymore.
No.
They don't even put the drives in the new computers anymore.
Really?
No,
You can't even buy a Raspberry Pi for that now. I mean, they're scalping those things crazy.
So how badly are they scalping? So I went looking for Raspberry Pi 02W there a while back, and those things are what? Really, really, really cheap. What, less than $20, right?
Right.
And they're scalping them for over $100 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Now let's think about if you want a little mini computer, you want to build something up with a Raspberry Pi 4. No kidding, folks. Brenda, Ken, I got to tell you guys, $32 if you buy it from the source, $220 if you try to buy it on Amazon because of scalpers.
Wow.
And so what you got to do is you got to check the vendors who are selling them, the authorized vendors, and check them every day. And as soon as you see they're selling one, they're not announcing it. They just simply have them available in stock, and then you buy them directly from the vendors and not on Amazon.
Well, these little Lenovo's are a pretty good little computer for the money. And Ken, mine just booted right up and loaded up perfectly right off the bat. So I expect you'll have no problem with yours.
Yeah,
Which processors do they have in them? Do you know?
They're an i5.
Intel i5. And
That's
this one is, this one says it's 240 gigabyte hard drive in it.
8 gig of RAM.
And it's a 2.9 gigahertz clock speed on the processor.
That's a lot of computer for $100.
Yeah,
A
8
lot of
gig of
computer for
RAM,
$100.
8 gig of RAM in it.
That little sucker boots in 12 seconds.
Yeah, but you don't have it very much on it yet. Where do you get it loaded up?
I've got the other one that I bought in Enid that I've been using for a while, and it's about the same. It hasn't slowed down enough to worry about, but keep all the automatic startup programs to a minimum.
So I think Sam may not be able to hear me, but I think he said you had to type in the key that's on the bottom here when you first powered up. Did you have to do that?
It never asked me for it. It went right on up and ran.
Okay.
So
Yeah, see, my
I
first
turned
one,
it over and I wrote it down and I was all set to go, but it just went ahead and booted. It asked me for my name and what kind of password I wanted and went right on up and booted.
see, my first one did that, and then it acted like it was up, and I thought, well, this is neat. And then it said it needs to restart. It restarted. It was the second time that it asked me for the key on. I don't know.
Anyway, it was painless.
I'll boot mine up tomorrow and
Yeah.
see what I can do to it.
I got my taxes filed today, and so now I can play radio again.
Yeah. Hey, it's got a Windows 7 sticker on here.
Yeah, I know, but it came up on 10. So that's where they probably had sold those out to various IT departments, and when they upgraded, they went to something a little stronger.
I'm gonna take that Windows 7 sticker off.
Well, that number, keep that, if you leave it on there, leave that number on there because you might need it if you do a reload later.
Well, I'm just gonna take the Windows 7 sticker off.
Okay, but it's got does it have the code on it?
No,
Oh, that one, okay.
it just says Windows
Wow,
7.
it'll never work again.
Yeah, mine says Windows 7 on it, on the sticker, and it says that on the license key on the bottom, but it loaded Windows 10 and came right up. Ken, I did take the cover off of one of mine, just wanted to see what was in there. And popped the cover off and looked in there and said, yeah, don't recognize anything, put the cover back on, I'm done.
Oh, no interesting places to hook up.
No, I mean, I recognize the hard drive, but the SSD drive that's in there covers the majority
Slot
of
for an
it.
M2 drive or something.
Say again, Ken?
I don't know if
Just take
I
that one.
thought earlier it
screwdriver
might have a slot for a one
M.2
of the-
drive?
yeah, one of the little drives,
Yeah, it would be nice.
but that's all right.
It probably don't have it. I mean, what do you want for $100?
Well, also it was a Windows 7 vintage machine, so
Yeah, that's true.
but I liked 7.
I do too. I got it on 2 of my computers.
I found a copy of Windows 98 laying around. I
I've got Windows.
I got an old Pentium
Yeah,
tower sitting over there on the shelf. I need to get it out and put 98 on it and then get my old Flight Simulator 10.
yeah.
Hey, there's Peter showed up.
Yeah.
Ah,
What do you say, Peter Law?
If you're gonna get a vanity call, get it soon because the price is going up.
yep.
Yeah.
But you all have your call signs that you want probably, so.
I don't think I'm going to change mine at this point.
So how much are they going up to?
It'll be
35.
it'll be $35 just like a new license or a renewal.
Oh, okay.
No, renewals are not.
Yeah. It's upgrades that are not.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking upgrade. Sorry.
I've had this call for 62 years. I don't
I
think I
think-
want to change it.
Don't they
Right.
grow in after 40? I mean, you can't remove them after 40, right?
Yeah, right.
I got W5AIR and I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, I saw that and I
wouldn't.
figured.
I wouldn't let that one go.
And I know where Ken's came from, so.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that you got that.
Well, I thought I remembered that call. I mean, that's what I thought I remembered, and it turned out to be actually was that. I knew there was an HFE on either on my novice or on a CB, and CB had a license at the time that I got my novice.
Yeah, it would have been 3 or 4 letters and 3 or 4
Yeah.
numbers.
I couldn't remember for sure, but I remembered the KA5 and that half I remembered, and I remembered the HFE half. I just wasn't sure they went together.
That's a lot of dits in a row too. You got 9,
It is.
more than 9,
It
10,
is
11,
it's going to be fun on CW.
9.
Yeah, I've got 13 dits in a row.
Oh my, you do, don't you?
Well, Brenda's got a good call.
Thank you.
Not too bad for CW.
Nope.
What's that? CW?
That's that.
Morris code.
That's the first digital mode.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
You're right. It is. That and RIDI.
Well,
Yeah.
that was much later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
I've made some RIDI contacts over the years, but I never did like RIDI. For one thing, it's too wide. I don't remember how wide it is, but
The old stuff was 850, but the new stuff is, the stuff that's in use in amateurs, 170 hertz shift.
yeah,
But the military
computer-
was 850.
yeah, the computer generated stuff is
Yeah.
what, 800 hertz?
850 was the old military, and 170 is what we
Yeah,
use
170.
these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there are guys that play with narrow RIDI that's only
Yeah.
23 hertz wide,
Yeah. Well, you know,
but there's not a lot of that.
there was a RIDI signal on the FT8 portion yesterday. He sure looked wide compared to the FT8 signal.
Yeah, he would, wouldn't he?
But you could recognize the tone. You know how that RIDI tone is.
Mm-hmm. You could almost fit. Well, no, not really. I was going to say you could almost fit the whole band in between the mark and the space, but that's not really true.
No, the FT8 is about 50 hertz wide.
Yeah.
But
You could have two signals in between, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I just never did like RIDI. For one thing, when they had a RIDI contest, them guys didn't care where they were at. They went all over the whole band. And they run power too.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a weak signal mode for them. They was running some power.
Does anybody happen to know if there's some place that you can look up people's old citizen band radio call signs?
I have never seen one online. because I don't know that there were call books as such 50 years ago for CB, I mean. And I've never seen anything online. And knowing the FCC, they probably burned all those records. So
I tried to look up I had a Guam call sign when I was in the Air Force, and it was 1960. I think whenever I got it, or maybe 59, but I could not find it in the call book online.
you looked in old ones, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I looked in online in a 1959 and 1960 call book.
If memory serves, those were not actually assigned by the FCC, but by the base commander or something.
No, this was a FCC thing, and I had two call signs. I had this call sign and a Guam call sign, and I didn't remember exactly what it was, but it was a KG6, I think.
I think that's right for Guam, yeah.
KG6 something. Man, when you're on a place like that and you call CQ, man, you get mobbed. You get mobbed from all over the world. People trying to work you.
Let's see.
It's like going to Bon Air.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where Sam went.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Is he back? Well, I guess that's him sitting there pretending he's Mark.
Yeah. So Bon Air and Curica was the
Mark's
two.
off sick tonight.
The Bon Air and Curica was the two that used to be one entity, and they split them out.
Back in 2010, yeah.
Yeah, in 2010. And I have worked PJ2, which was before they split it, on 80 meters. And it shows on Logbook of the World, as
Deleted.
a deleted one. But I looked at getting the 5-band certificate, and it looks like when you get a certificate, they go ahead and count those deleted ones. Do you know for sure?
The deleted ones count for all the awards except honor roll.
Yeah, so I can use that one.
Yep.
So that means I have 100 on 80 meters.
Yep.
Good. So
Well, now what are you going to do, Ken?
I need to apply for the 8-band DXCC.
There you go.
And I don't know how to do it. I looked online, and whenever you maybe Peter can tell me, but when you go in there to apply for it, you can apply for individual bands. I did not see a place to apply for a 5-band DXCC.
Yeah, because they're dumb. They don't make it easy to do the 5-band stuff, and it worked all states the same way. I mean, you got to have the credits. The credits are right there, but they've never been able to figure out how to make a button to say, okay, give me 5-band DXCC.
That would just be so easy.
Not for them.
They got all the other bands in there. All they got to do is add one more button.
I know. I don't know what the procedure is.
I sent an email to ARRL about a week ago. I haven't heard anything yet.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
I was anticipating that I would have 100 countries on 80 meters by now, but I still haven't got it unless I use that deleted one.
No, you can use the deleted one. It's fine. Because if you look at when they do the statistics, they used to publish them in QST, and I don't remember if they do that once a year anymore. They'd show the guys at the top of the honor roll, and that's, what is it, 340 right now, I think is the current country. But then in parentheses is say like 362.
Yeah.
Because that was their total with all their deleted countries. I think there's only ever been 401 or 402 all time. And there was a story in QST a couple years ago, but some guy that had like 396 of them. And he died, or I don't know, something like that. Because you got to go way back for some of those deleteds.
Mm-hmm. I've got about 3 deleted ones on 10 meters. I don't remember which ones they are, but that's the only one on 80.
My only ones are when they did that split of the whole Bonaire, Curacao, all that Netherland Antilles stuff got broke up.
That's another one. Netherland Antilles. That's another one that I got that's deleted. And I have Yugoslavia too, but it don't show up on the list anymore. Period.
One of those countries that got broke up in the 90s. Some country that was left, like they broke it apart, and if you had Yugoslavia, it counted for the new country. They didn't delete that kind. I don't remember the details, but maybe that was Czechoslovakia, because that's 2 different countries now. I don't remember. One of them though, they didn't delete the original. I forget how that went. It was convoluted. I remember that.
I worked Yugoslavia on 4 different bands, and it's no good. It doesn't even show it in the list.
Yeah, because it's. Let me see if I can find it.
It's not that important, Peter.
Well, there's a DXCC countries list, and there's like 347 footnotes at the bottom, and it actually explains all that. It explains all that stuff.
You know, our
find it here.
Our logging program, which I don't have on that computer, our logging program has a country list on it. I was just showing it to Sam tonight.
There are 55 footnotes on that list.
Wow.
So Yugoslavia, let me see what it says here. Good Lord, it's not even in the footnotes. Holy cow, you weren't kidding.
That's what I mean. I can't.
What was their prefix?
I can't remember. Oh, well, wait a minute. I think it's in my logging program.
Should be, yeah. Because it became like Bosnia or something like that somewhere. I don't remember.
I was thinking that its prefix was something like a YU, or it might not even be.
Right. Why?
Here.
Okay, it's Serbia. YT and YU are now Serbia.
Okay.
And there's an asterisk here. Let me go look at the asterisk.
Yeah, it doesn't show Yugoslavia in this country list on my logging program. But let me go look at Serbia. If it works in Serbia, wouldn't there be a Yugoslavia prefix? Oh, there's a YU. Is that it?
Yeah. What did DX Keeper mark it as?
Well, I'm looking in my amateur logbook, and I've got a bunch of YUs, YTs, YT7, YU7, and they're all say that they're Serbia.
Yeah, because I think that's how it went. I think when they busted it up, all of the I'm not seeing it here.
I've even got Serbia on 2-meter moon bounce.
Woo! Look this up here. What's going on here?
On CW on several bands, but they're all the higher bands. 20, I think, is the lowest band that I've got Serbia on. No 80 meters. That's for sure. Okay, the first entry of the log for YT which at that time was Yugoslavia, is 2001.
That's after they busted everything up, isn't it?
I think I sent it to everyone now.
I think it is.
Huh.
So I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
But that
I'm
would
madly
be-
Googling here.
That would have been more than 20 years ago. So was it 20 years ago when they broke up Yugoslavia?
Hell, I
21
don't.
years ago?
Status of old YUQSO. Let's see what this says.
Yes.
So Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia Herzegovina, however you pronounce that, Macedonia, Montenegro, all removed themselves from Yugoslavia. And when Montenegro left Yugoslavia, they just said, okay, we're Serbia now.
Hmm.
And so they sort of inherited all the Yugoslaviousness.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate your looking that up because I was curious as to what was going on there.
There's almost, if you've got a legitimate QSL, there's almost no way that it's not going to be valid for something.
Yeah.
It may not be the country you thought, but
yeah.
You get the geography lesson for free. You got to pay for the DXCC certificate, but the geography lesson comes free.
Yeah.
Let me put that. I'll put the.
There's a little country over there called Andorra. I've worked them before, but I never have got a QSL card from them.
Oh, Brenda had to leave. Oh, she typed a message in the thing. There's the. Is that the right one? Current entities list. Yeah, with shows all the deleted stuff too. Yeah, 340 current.
So to be on the honor roll, you have to have 90% of that, or?
To be on the honor roll, you have to have 331. I think you have to be in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. I probably don't think I'll live that long. Getting harder to get all the time.
Well, yeah, and it is. They goof around with stuff too. So
I've got about 280, I think, now.
that's not bad. I'm stuck at like 196 or 198 or something.
Yeah, it's hard to get a new country.
Come on, Peter, you weigh more than that.
Well, yeah, but no, these are countries though. I'd love to. Hey, listen, I'd love to have as many countries as pounds. So don't kid yourself. But
I want as many pounds as I have countries.
Yeah, that'd be nice. My doctor agrees with you. She says I should be that much too.
You guys wants to take over. We're getting ready to lock this up. Who wants to become the boss here?
All right. Well, I need to sign off anyway. I saw that you guys were still on. I thought I'd stop in and say hi.
Well, we're glad you did. I appreciate the info.
Hey, anytime, man. And the list, I posted the list in the chat window there. The link to the DXCC list.
Ken Robertson, you got it.
And it's 57 footnotes.
Okay. 57 footnotes. Wow.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
What? We lost them, 2 of them, same time.
Well, you're about to lose another one. I'm gonna have to sign off here. It's been enlightening and fun as it always is. So see you guys next week.
All right. I'm gonna try to bookmark this list. so I can go back and look at it.
Well, y'all take care. It's
Okay, Bill.
meeting this weekend,
What?
isn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
club meeting Saturday.
at the fire station?
Yep.
Yeah,
And picnic at Denny's
Saturday?
afternoon.
Saturday afternoon, yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.